Okay, so I've got a hand coming out of, I guess, just the Medford Poker Room over in Oregon. We're playing 1-2. It's pretty early in the morning. Game's been running for probably 12 hours. I'm sitting a little over, or just a little under 1,500. There's an older villain to my right. He's probably in his early 70s, playing pretty tight, pretty aggressive, but I haven't really seen much of him.
Okay.
He's sitting on 1,400, and then the main villain, or the other villain in the hand, is kind of a crazy Asian guy. He's lost probably $3,000 in the game at this point, and he's sitting on about 500 to start.
Okay.
So it folds around to the button, who's the older guy, the older tag, and he goes ahead and he just calls. I'm in the small blind with ace-7 of diamonds, and I go ahead and complete here. Normally this is a raise for me, but the crazy Asian guy just being tilted has been 3-betting probably half of his hands at least, and pretty much every time I'm in a pot, I think I made a big call down against him with ace high, and I think it kind of set him off. So I've been playing my range is mostly limps to limp raise, occasionally limp fold, and occasionally limp call. That was kind of my first question is, are you isolating here at 250 big blinds effective, I guess? Or plus,
well, so I know that you said this, but can you just give me the button stack again and the big blind stack again?
The button stack is the older gentleman. He's at 1,400,
Okay.
and the crazy Asian guy is in the big blind, and he's at approximately 500.
So this guy, this older guy limps in for 2 on the button, right? Is that what happens? He just limps in for 2? Yeah, I would raise.
Yep.
I would raise to drive out the big blind for sure. I mean, your hand's going to stand to be a favorite anyways. I mean, I know you're out of position, but I mean, it's not a huge thing, but I would certainly raise. So you complete. What does the big blind do?
Yeah. So I complete. The big blind makes it 32, and the isolation
32.
raise on his part wasn't odd at all.
16x, huh?
Yeah, 15x over the top. So 30 over the limit. Him isolating wasn't unusual, but the size was. I'd actually kind of planned on more than likely re-raising to like say a $20 isolation raise if this guy did it, and I'd done it maybe 3 or 4 times already. Put him in some pretty ugly spots.
So what did the button do?
The button called, and then I ended up calling, and I kind of thought this was a mistake, but it's not something that comes up super often where you're playing that deep, and I didn't know. Being out of position really sucks.
Well, I mean, here's my thought on this: is that this is great that we get to sort of exemplify, and the computer guys are laughing about 16x. The guy open limps and then calls a 16x raise from the big blind.
Yeah,
and then
and I mean yeah.
I mean, so yes, you're getting like 2-1 here ish, 2-1, but it is a big raise size and he's kind of shallow. I actually, if he's in a crazy Asian guy and you've played it this way, you could almost just limp re-raise the guy. I mean, the old guy's going to fold if you make it 200. I mean, I know it kind of seems gambly to get in 500 with ace-7 of diamonds, but if he's really been that wide, then, it sort of is what it is. But, okay, so you call. I mean, yes, the answer is you don't need to defend to a 16x raise with ace-7 of diamonds. But, okay, we're there. So the pot's $96.
Okay, yep. So the pot's 96. I think they took like 5 out for the,
all right, so we'll
call
it 90.
Whatever. I calculated it approximately $90.
Mm-hmm.
The flop comes out King of Hearts, Queen of Diamonds, and I believe it was a 6 of Diamonds.
King of Hearts,
so we flop,
Queen of Diamonds, 6 of Diamonds?
Correct.
Okay.
So we flop nut flush draw.
Yep.
I checked to the Asian guy, expecting him to bet a lot actually. Instead, he ends up checking, and the older, tight, aggressive guy bets 75 and to call it 90. This was kind of second decision point. I thought I was better off against that sizing. I thought I was better off calling. I think raising into it, I'm going to be against a lot of potentially 6-6, potentially king-queen off, and I'd seen him limp that a couple of times. But I thought a lot of combo diamonds, which I'm doing okay against, but I'm not great against the range, so I kind of rather keep him a little bit wide. And I want the Asian guy in. I thought it was a mistake to raise because I want the Asian guy in.
Here's my thought is that, yeah, I mean, when this guy takes this type of sizing, especially against the preflop raiser who has checked, it usually is going to skew it towards a lot of king X here. We wouldn't assume that he has ace king because you have an ace and he didn't raise pre, but king queen off might be a hand that he limps with king jack, king 10. And then I guess there's a possibility he could have king X of diamonds, like king 9 of diamonds, king 10 of diamonds. So, this is what I talk about sometimes, attacking the field better on crush side poker. And what that means is that it's when the pre-flop raiser checks post-flop and somebody in the field bets, you can attack them a lot. I wouldn't necessarily do it on this board though, where someone's basically saying, hey, I have a king. I like to do it more on boards that are of dynamic nature, like 9-4-3, where somebody might be stabbing with 7s or 8s or 9x, and it's going to be very difficult for them to hold on. But this is more of a static top pair where the top pair is not going to, it's not going to change. I think it's probably a little bit weak to just fold, especially with the nut flush draw here, and your ace might be good here too. So I would probably call.
Okay, so that's what I did. And I thought, again, against that sizing, that his range was skewed primarily towards having a made hand and probably king X, pretty decent hand. So I called. The Asian guy thought for a little while, probably 30 plus seconds, which was actually slow for him. I mean, he's usually pretty quick to act. And then he ended up calling as well. So I kind of thought that he had like a nothing sort of ace 10, ace jack sort of hand, maybe pocket jacks, pocket 10, something that was moderate that he was getting stubborn with.
So the pot's about 315 because you guys have put in 225 on the turn.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So pot's 315. The turn comes an ace of clubs.
Okay.
Kind of a weird card. I ended up checking. The Asian guy checked as well, and now the old guy bets for 300, so just under pot.
Wow, the old guy bet again here?
Old guy bet again. And this kind of confused me because my take was same as yours, is that his flop bet is going to be a lot of value, but the ace doesn't really help a whole lot of value hands, and it hurts a lot of them. Like sixes make a lot of sense. He's bottom set and just blasts away. I didn't think he would take that sizing with Jack 10 on the flop, to be honest. So I kind of heavily discounted that, and that might be a mistake on my part. But I just didn't see it on the flop. I just kind of trust myself in those spots.
No, I understand what you're saying, and I also just think that king queen, like, does king queen take this sizing? Because if the guy understands a little bit about poker, he's got to be a little bit concerned about Jack 10 coming from the call and a call. So I wouldn't usually see this full kind of sizing here with king queen, which would be like middle two pair.
Yeah, and that's what really kind of threw me off, because I expected a bet, but nothing near that sizing. And then the way stacks are set up, he bets that. He's got about $1,000 behind, essentially. And I don't think that it's that.
Let me ask you a question. Could he have ace king here? Could he limp call ace king on the button?
I don't think so. He'd been raising his really good hands. He'd been limping some like king queen offsuit, but he was playing fairly straightforward. I'm not going to say it's impossible because it's live poker and laugh out loud, but I'm going to say it's highly discounted. Like I think I just 16 combos. I don't think he plays two of them like this.
I think I just fold. I just fold. Yeah. I mean, I understand what you're saying about but it's almost a full-size pot bet. Yes, you have two pair. I should not two pair.
I have one pair.
You have top pair. Yeah. Sorry, excuse me, top pair. So you might occasionally have some equity against like, two pair types of hands like king queen.
Right.
It's unlikely that he's got diamonds here. I guess there's a possibility he could have king X of diamonds, king jack of diamonds, king 10 of diamonds. But again, it's a question of whether that's a best case scenario and that he continues to drive forward. There's always a chance something weird is going on here with the big blind. Like maybe the big blind overcall with ace queen and now he's got aces up and you're never going to get that fold either. Right. So, you know what I'm saying? So I think I just fold here to this big bet.
Okay. And that was kind of my thought. I thought the hand over quite a bit afterwards, talked to a couple people through Discord or whatever. And that was kind of the consensus, was that fold is probably best, and if I'm going to do that, I should probably only just call, and raising, given stacks, is probably pretty speedy, which was definitely what my action was. I ended up shoving. I just thought he was full of crap, and that I was the most likely person to have Jack 10, given the flop read the guy and just kind of look at a flop read on his sizing and
well, I mean, you
trusting
could.
myself
I
again.
mean, you can shove as a semi bluff if you think he's going to fold out everything. You know,
Well, that was
again, it's like one of these scenarios where you kind of have to look at the guy where if a guy that's betting 300 with king queen here on the turn or betting 300 after limp calling with ace king, is that the type of guy that's going to fold out their hands? Oh, I lost this guy. I wonder if he's going to. That's my take. This guy got disconnected. Hopefully he'll give a call back. But my take here is that I don't think that you're going to get the folds from this type of sizing here. With Jack 10. So yeah, I mean, obviously the hero and the small blind incredibly, reps. I would say Jack 10. You could say well, but I still just don't think that we're necessarily going to get the folds, really. I want to see if I can find... Oh, no, I do have the answer. Hero jams, and both villains call. So he jams and both villains call. The Asian guy and the guy on the button. The river is the 5 of diamonds. So the hero makes the nuts. King of hearts, queen of diamonds, right? Ace of clubs, river, 5 of diamonds. Both call. And let's do a reveal. Crazy Asian shows ace 10 of spades. Old tag shows king 10 of diamonds. Hero scoops with ace 7 of diamonds. So Hero needed to knock out, I guess, the Asian guy, which didn't work. Because if the river was a brick, Hero wouldn't have won, because the Asian guy would have won, but he would have beat the old tag. And the old tag had king 10 of diamonds. I mean, I think that that's just absolutely the best case scenario. People are saying that's a big pot. That's a $3,000 pot at 1-2, but I still think that folding turn, I would say, is the play there. If you like what you've seen here, please hit the subscribe button. And if you enjoyed this call-in hand, hit the like button down below. To check out crushlivepoker.com, click on the link in the description. Use the code YTA300 to get the first 30 days for free.